We're Group 4, and we are presenting our analysis of the stock market as it relates to the coronavirus outbreak. The primary goal of this project is to provide a meaningful analysis which can be catered to user input and give an idea of coronavirus implications on the market. In terms of planning, we originally intended to analyze more aggregate aspects of the market and their broad trends, but ultimately decided on COVID's impact on sectors of the market. This is because we felt that providing a more specified approach through sector analysis would better suit our objective and address the very relevant topic.
In our research of previous analyses, we found that there are market analyses available and even a few comparisons of the stock market and coronavirus cases, as seen here. Most analysis, however, is either on the entire market or single stocks with very few sector-by-sector breakdowns or in-depth analysis of coronavirus interactions. Looking at the volatility of the market, we can see that there's a lot of volatility seen recently due to the coronavirus pandemic, some of the highest rates seen in US history. We thought that it would be interesting to break this down sector by sector and see what parts of the market are seeing increased volatility. Our analysis is new because it's less aggregated and more representative of the effects of coronavirus on the economy due to the sector breakdown. The multi-attribute analysis allows us to see summary long-term trends, correlative analysis using regression smoothing, and sentiment analysis with data from Twitter.
For our data frames used in analysis, coronavirus data was gathered from Johns Hopkins, and then stock market data was using the Yahoo Finance API. Then for our sentiment analysis, the Twitter API was used to create the sentiment scores. For the design, the tab layout allowed us to present users with ample analysis which caters to user interest. The sidebar panel allows users to select daily changes in COVID data, whether it be global or US, and then as well as sectors from within the S&P.
The summary data is broken down. On the left, we can see the ETF close price. On the right is the selected coronavirus data. This allows users to see the interactions of the data over time.
For the compare, this demonstrates relationships directly between the sector and chosen coronavirus data. This data was trimmed to only plot instances where coronavirus data was greater than 0 to avoid skewing the data to the left. The three plots show normalized daily change, normalized daily range, and normalized daily volume versus the change in coronavirus data selected.
The sentiment analysis assigns a positive or negative score based on the tone of the tweet. We use Twitter as a source of data because we can pull official news and the audience reaction from it very quickly. The first graph is a sentiment score from a financial news outlet called MarketWatch, and the second is of all tweets with the word coronavirus in it. The y-axis is the scale of the sentiment from -1, which is most negative, to 1, which is most positive, and the x-axis is the timeline of the tweet.
That concludes our demonstration. We'll conclude with our analyses.
Cases and deaths both seem to be lagging indicators of stock market performance for almost all sectors. Here we can see consumer staples performances compared with global deaths and global cases respectively. In general, the market dropped on the expectation that cases or deaths would rise, not the actual rise. If we look at our data since December, we can see that once the number of cases per day started to stabilize, the market also starts to stabilize. Additionally, if we consider the fact that the CARES Act was passed on March 27th, around the time we start to see market fluctuations start to decrease and some of the values begin to recover.
Comparative analysis, with few exceptions, sectors typically experience trends like the one shown. For daily change, key points circled demonstrate the massive drop as experienced as a result of coronavirus. For the daily range values, the large fluctuations as circled demonstrates the increased volatility during this time period. This is contrast to the daily volume values, which are not nearly as spread out as a result of different investing strategies, such as weathering the storm versus selling out. For sentiment analysis, COVID sentiments remained on the average quite negative, while the market showed a downward trend from positive to negative, but there's potential for resurgence, as shown in the circled region to the right of the screen.